Okay. Right. So basically, the meeting is going to be in two parts. Part one, I put it down so that if people that wanted to get, well, we're involved in Goal Getters the last 2 years, want to give some feedback, but don't want to be, can't for other reasons be involved in the future. That's part one for them. Then they can kind of disappear off. And part two will be about Goal Getters 2022. So if you're only here to give feedback, we really appreciate you giving up your time to do that. But that's kind of an important part of Goal Getters because we want to progress it and make it better year on year. So that, in actual fact, I know some of you might not even be totally aware of what Goal Getters is, and I'll do that intro in part two. But for part one, we're after some feedback. Now, what happened in Goal Getters 2020 was that it was extended to a 2-year project, but Goal Getters is ordinarily a 1-year project. But the reason it was extended for a 2-year project was, as you know, the pandemic and races were cancelled, Parkrun was cancelled, and all kinds of things had problems. So we weren't even able to go out really for longer than that sometimes. So we made it over 2 years. So that did affect the participation, I should say. I think that's the best way of putting it. But we have mentors and we have mentees. So I don't know whether anyone's prepared to say how they feel about how 2020, 2021 went. Over to you.
I loved it.
That's brilliant. So that's brilliant.
I think ours worked well because we had like a team. It felt like a team effort.
Was.
Yeah.
We helped each other get out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vicky was kind of a textbook mentor, really. In fact, wrote the textbook, to be honest, in terms of getting her and her mentees all together, and she was the mentor for the mentees and getting them together and working as a team. I know Martin Russell did some similar bits and pieces, and there were some mentors that really embraced the challenge. And I think probably like Sally was referring to, it helped them through the pandemic. I know it doesn't help everybody, and the pandemic, blimey, it got a lot of people down, including myself, and I lost focus as well. So it can work in two ways. Caroline, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I was kind of a complete newcomer to Goal Getters, and what was really useful for me was to see the breadth of things that were available, from the fact that I could get involved in lots of social activities that didn't involve, racing and getting to the end as quickly as possible, as well as a range of races of certain lengths where I could actually try and beat myself. I think that sometimes, just from talking to people, the championship felt a bit stressful, and a lot of people perhaps don't want to do a track championship 2, 3, 4 years in a row because they don't feel like they're achieving again, and it's so difficult to get better all the time. Not to say you shouldn't have it, because it's fantastic. The other side was really inclusive. Such a range of different things to get involved in. I didn't know what half of them were, and I still don't know what some of them are. So I guess maybe a point to think about for next time might be, what is the Gwent League? Like, when can I do it? And also, a lot of people like myself saved up some things right to the last couple of months, and there wasn't enough time to do what I needed to do. So, I guess it might have been useful to figure out what my sort of last races could have been to achieve certain things. That's my two sixpence worth.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Carol. That's really good. Terry, what did you want to say?
I actually shadowed what Caroline said, to be fair, but mine is slightly different. So our team, our mentor and mentees started off really well, but they kind of fizzled out. So it was actually just me and my mentor, and then time and work and everything got kind of in the way of everything. So I think, and also I wasn't really sure about what I was meant to be doing, and I know that's probably down to my failing. But I wasn't sure. So I thought Goal Getters was you set your goal and you blah, 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 even though you put out loads of publications, and I'm not silly, and I did read it, but I didn't really comprehend what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And my mentor was brilliant and really supportive. And I'm, you know, he is brilliant. And if I do it again next year or this year, I'd love to have him again because he's so supportive. But I really need to know what the narrative is, because I and he didn't really kind of understand and gel maybe. So I'm kind of shadowing what Caroline said, but on a novice level. So
Yeah. Can I add
and
to that?
also,
about- yeah.
oh, sorry. And
Sorry.
also, I've got no intention of doing a half marathon, so I do not want to do a goal getters for a half marathon. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, and I think with regards to mentors, like I had an absolutely amazing mentor. Again, I want to hang on to, but he didn't know some stuff, so I was asking other people. But that's, you know, I guess he was just a first-time mentor as well. But also with regards to the half marathon, you said, you know, could there be a different lengths? Like not everyone has to enter in a 5K, you know, a 10K and a half marathon. Could it be that you have 3 races of your choosing, or something a little bit more flexible, maybe?
Yeah, so that sounds good. The reason that it is those 3 distances is because we had a lack of participation several years ago. We had a lack of participation in the club championship for one reason or another, and the club championship is those 3 distances. So we set up goal getters. You know, they were saying, well, we've not got many people. We've got like 400 in the club, and only like 20 were entering the club championship. So we integrate it as part of that. The goal getters championship section, for them to do that. We were actually the original couple of years was based on PBs, but we realized that was, as people were getting older, that was even more silly. So we then went against kind of the previous year's season's bests. But I can understand what you're saying, whether we make it flexible. And is there anyone here that kind of made some comments about AVT as well? I think Carol, probably someone wants to say something about that today.
Yeah, I will. Sorry, otherwise it'll be I could talk to you all night about this. Yeah, I had a chat, like we're in a nice little group of AVTers, and there's some real keen beans there who would love to have, some of them would love to have an actual AVT sort of goal getters, I think, that's slightly separate. Like you could add some sort of multi-sport thing onto the end of goal getters, but it's not really going to fulfill the desires of the AVTers. You know, they want to do, you know, a sprint, like the triathlon sprint and the Olympic sprint, and they want to try and enter in a swim, and then they want to, and, you know, it's quite different.
Yeah, we did one of the challenges, but it was only one of the 25, was to take part in a multi-sport event, I think. But that, you like you're saying, you want it more, you know, more to do an AVT.
Yeah. There are some real beginners in AVT at the moment, and they could really, including myself, do with a pathway. And actually, goal getters allows you to have that sort of pathway, like I had with AVR, going, oh well, there's the Gwent League, and there's the, you know, all these different elements I had no idea about. The same with the AVT. I have no idea about all of these things, these different multi-sport possibilities, and putting together a really nice, you know, suite of things you could be involved in would be really great for those beginners.
Yeah, okay. So actually, going back to Terry as well, I've just had a quick thought that I kind of compiled the list of challenges in, well, you know, consult with other people, but I wrote it out. So maybe if you had any time available, Terry, that you and I could try and write the one for 2022, so that we cover so that it's understandable for everybody. Because I think kind of, you know, Fiona says this, and she won't mind me saying this. She says, you know, I start in the middle of a sentence because I know what I've been saying. Do you know what I mean? That thing that you get in your head, whereby, because I've been in the club 10 years, although I'm not a great runner or anything like that, I've just been in the club a long time, I probably sometimes automatically assume, and I need people that are new, that understand it, to check with me, to be my check. So whether you could help with that, Terry, that might be quite a good thing. I know you're not that new to the club, but you know, so that some of the challenges are, you know.
Well, I am keep breaking. I am relatively new because I keep starting and breaking, starting and breaking. So I probably am the newest member of this group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, happy to help.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's kind of. Does anyone want to give any more feedback before we go on and talk about 2022?
Yeah, happy to, Sean.
Yes,
yeah,
go
I was
on,
going to.
Martin.
Sorry, I haven't got a.
Go Martin first,
It's
shall we?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I joined in 1920 as a mentee, and then
You're not that
no,
old.
no,
It's
2019 20, but then 2020 21. Thank you, Sarah.
Age.
The first year I was a mentee, and then I sort of took on board as a mentor, and I think I sort of sort of took on the lessons of what I would want from a mentor into that second year as well. And also I had a great group, including Annalise on the call here, who embraced that what Goal Getters is all about, I feel.
Yeah, no, you did a great job, Martin, as well. You also had an under 18-year-old, a junior, didn't you? So that
Yeah.
yeah, and you did really well. What about you, Sharon? What have you?
Sorry, I missed that bit. My laptop keeps breaking up. No, I was just going to add that it's really good to see that kind of lots of groups were doing it together. From my point of view, I think I was the only person in my mentee group,
Right.
so it did kind of get a bit sort of like on your own kind of thing, which is fine. It didn't bother me so much, but I don't know if there were other people in similar situations, and that maybe it might not be quite so good to kind of do something like that if it's just you kind of doing it on your own sort of thing.
Well, I think some mentees and some mentors found it difficult going through the pandemic, having other things on and losing focus.
Yeah.
I think with all that.
Oh yeah, no, totally. No, it's not through any.
Yeah, no.
Not through any kind of just what circumstances were.
You guys definitely got like the end of the stick for that, because like for the teamwork to really work, the first year that we did it, we managed to kind of do like day runs where we'd run together, we'd run out and back from the canal and then go and have breakfast. It was much more social. You managed to kind of
Can't hear you, Fiona.
with your mentor. Sorry.
Can you get nearer the microphone? I can't hear you very well. Can anyone else hear it?
No.
No, we can hear.
I know.
Get nearer the microphone would be great.
I have to climb in.
That's it.
I was just saying that you guys got it like quite rough really, because we didn't have the same kind of setup as we did the first few years. The first few years we were able to go to the canal maybe once a month, meet up with our mentees, the mentors would meet their mentees, go for an out and back along the canal, go for breakfast, have a bit of a social interaction as well. Whereas you didn't. So I think, Sharon, especially if like you're on your own, you don't kind of allow that with your mentors if you can't kind of get them. We just weren't able to do it this year, which is a real big shame. And it definitely, it's definitely something to look forward to for this year, that we will be able to do it.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and I think COVID impacted that as other things. It's not meant as a criticism or anything. It was just a kind of, this year, as you said, has been very, very different to in previous years.
Anyone else got any feedback? So basically then we'll move on to the next bit of the agenda, which is a presentation evening. So the culmination of every Goal Getters since we started is the presentation awards night, whereby we will gather at the Civic Hall in Trowbridge on the 5th of Feb, and the mentors will present the mentees with their medal and have their photograph taken together on the stage at the Civic reception. It really is the flagship of social event of the year as far as Avon Valley Runners is concerned. And why this is another reason that we did Goal Getters, is that it takes a lot of hard work to get to even the bronze level of Goal Getters, but it's achievable for everyone, no matter how quick you are at running. So that it's a chance for people that aren't the very fast ones. I actually love kind of celebrating the really fast people, but it's an all-inclusive club, and this Goal Getters really tries to do that as well. So if you are a mentor or a mentee, then hopefully you'll be there on the 5th of February. Well, hopefully you're all there on the 5th of February. It's a great occasion, and the medal is fantastic. It's a bit extravagant, the medal. And then that really concludes the first part of the meeting. So that if you were only here because you wanted to give your feedback, that's fantastic. That's really appreciated. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all the working group, all the mentors and the mentees who have taken part in the Goal Getters 2020-2021. You know, it was really, really tough. 68 people signed up as mentees or goal getters, and with 28 mentors, and 28 mentees managed to get a medal of at least a gold, at least a bronze or silver or gold. So 28 medals, which was, you know, quite good considering the circumstances. But that's a lot of people that started, and then only, you know, 28 got over the line. I anticipate this year that, you know, the success rate will be higher because without a pandemic or without lockdowns. Hopefully there is no lockdowns. There isn't any lockdowns this year, is there?
Oh yeah.
So that's part one done. So part two is about Goal Getters 2022. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you for ideas on what we can do. But to start with, I just wanted to show you, the spreadsheet. Okay, I'll try and do that now. There you go. Can you all see the spreadsheet? So this is the spreadsheet of Goal Getters, and we got here Kat Taylor-led, who was mentored by Michael Guy, and that number by the side of it says 68 mentees, and that they're all assigned a mentor. And then you go down here, and my son wrote this kind of spreadsheet so that as soon as you enter these figures, so basically she beat her 10K time and she beat her half marathon time, so she gets a silver award. So basically this is the championship level, whereby you set yourself a target, and these targets are set by your season's best from the previous year. If you haven't got one, we work out a pseudo time. Okay, and then it comes up. Kat Taylor-led did a silver because she didn't go for the 5K. And then down below is the challenge element of it. So there's two facets: the championship, and you know, we can look at that and see whether that's what we want to be doing in the future or not. Like Caroline said, there's also the challenge, which comes up with 25 different challenges. Okay, and actually, I kind of run a Gwent X league. So Caroline said that. So the question mark here, there's a link to, where's it go? It goes to the website to see where you can. So what we've done is we put a question mark here and helped people know what it is for further information. So like, you know, the King George V Junior Park Run, and then it will take you to their website, or it gives you a link to their website anyway. So that's how we've done that with the question mark there, but maybe we need to update those question marks and make them more comprehensive. And then we've got the quantities down here of how many people have achieved those particular challenges. Okay, so we've got 25 challenges there. And really what Goal Getters is there to try and encourage people to get involved in the running community, but also to challenge themselves and to try and come up with goals. And like Fiona was saying, it's so that we could do it as a group. A lot of people within AVR set their own goals and they go for those. And you know, it might be a marathon, or it might be something else. But this is a way of you kind of wanting to have a group. And personally, you know, I find kind of setting goals that I do on myself difficult. And Fiona finds it really, really easy. So she kind of does it that way. But the fact is some people do need to kind of prefer it to do it in a group, as Fiona was pointing out earlier as well. And you kind of, the social aspects of it all. I better shut up. I keep going on and on. Really, I just wanted to say as well, because I saw this on the I saw this tonight, and this is what I think Goal Getters is summed up as. I don't care who is doing better than me. I'm doing better than I was last year. It's me versus me. And I thought that's very, very Goal Getters. You know, you kind of just trying to better yourself. You haven't got to break. You haven't got to break any world records or anything like that. You've just got. That's what I think, is that you just got to do better. And you know, if you do better by a second, then you're doing better. You're going in the right direction. It doesn't matter. And you know, even if you can't, at least you're trying. You know, you might get injured or something like that. You might not be able to, but at least you're trying to go in that right direction, and you've got the support of a mentor and the rest of the Goal Getters team. The next part of the thing is to try and recruit some people to come on to the working group to help with the admin and to help with the creativity side of things. So Sally, as you know, as anyone that's ever met her, is really, really enthusiastic. And she's decided to help me by becoming joint chair of the Goal Getters, and she's really head of recruitment and you know, encouragement and positivity, all the things that Sally's really good at. She's good at everything really, but she's really good at that. So, you know, if you can join the Goal Getters working group, so I'm going to give you I think I've done it in the chat now. If you look at the chat, it says back up there, it goes, it's got a link to the page I just showed you, the tiny URL. Oh, actually, if I put it up again, well. So that's the link to the website. Okay, and then there's also the email address. So if you could all make a note of the email address, which is basically all the AVR email addresses end at avonvalleyrunners.org.uk. And the one for this event is actually just called goal. So it's goal at avonvalleyrunners.org.uk. So it's easy to remember, and I've just put it in the chat there for you to see. So what I'm hoping you'll do is you'll email in to that address, okay, that you can help with the working group, and then also if you're prepared to be a mentor. But we need a little team of people as enthusiastic as Sally to try and recruit some mentors. So the idea is that we recruit mentors between now and the 5th of February. And then on the 5th of February, we have decided exactly what format Goal Getters 2022 is, and we launch it at the awards ceremony to say what all the challenges are and if we're going to change the championship or whether we want to change the whole thing. Has anyone got any ideas about what we could do for 2022? No one. So
sorry.
Yes,
I think
I've got some ideas. Sorry.
I think we should follow up on what Caroline's been saying with the AVT and have like another. So you have like the championship, the volunteering, and then an AVT specific.
So we should have 3 facets. Do you think, Vicky?
Yeah.
Okay. So Caroline, could you get a team of AVTers together and come up with? Yeah. I don't know how many do you think you could come up with?
How many like criteria you mean?
Yeah. So yeah, did you want to make them participation like the challenge, or did you want to make them time-based like the championship?
Well, perhaps I can go back to the group and ask what they'd like. I did ask them sort of briefly, just and they were quite keen on. I think at this stage, it wasn't really about championship. It was more about, well, it wasn't about the times. It's just about the getting involved because a lot of us are very beginner orientated. But I'll ask them, and can I come back to you with a whole list of possibilities?
And there's no reason it couldn't be both. We could amalgamate both and just so you could have time-based and non-time-based challenges.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I would appreciate if we had time-based because all of my training events were triathlon or duathlon.
Right.
So on several occasions, I actually smashed my personal bests on 5Ks or my swimmings. None of it accounted for Goal Getters whatsoever. So a PB within those 3 categories would be really good, because there are times where you're not going to get a PB overall, but there may be PBs within your 3 categories or 2 categories you're racing in, would be appreciated.
Cool.
Excellent. So it's right. Okay, that's fair enough. And I think Russell's saying something now, isn't he? Russell. He thinks challenge based. I mean, what about doing basically exactly the same, but all multi-sports? It sounds like Some people
Yeah.
want time-based, some people might want challenge. That's exactly what we've done with the AVR one. So maybe
Yeah.
the AVT one needs to run alongside it and do, you know.
I think it would really encourage people to get involved in multi-sports as well.
Right.
I think for those of us who are more multi-sport based, it would be really, really appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what people think. What do people think? Keeping it separate, or I prefer to kind of have it in all to be together, really, because then more people would be encouraged to take part in multi-sport activities rather than just separate them out. The slight problem with the time-based multi-sport activities is the reason they're not counted for the AVR Championship, and this isn't my doing, this is way back in the rules, they all have to be measured by on road. Okay, so they all have to be certificated. So no park runs count or anything like that. It's all road-based ones. But I mean, if the rules for the club change, then the rules for the Goal Getters Championship would change as well. But I can't see that happening because obviously some distances are different to others. Do they certify the AV?
Sure. Yeah, the competitions I took part in were British triathlon qualifiers for European and international. They were measured courses. I mean, you can't get any bigger. And I've qualified for European triathlon to represent GB for Europeans. And my time doesn't count for AVR, and that's ludicrous.
Right. Okay. Well, that's not something that I can get involved with because it's based on what they set down as the championship, and that was done long time ago. But
it's changing.
If you write into the secretary, then they'll put that to the agenda, and I know that they will seriously consider it, Sarah. And sure. I think you've got a good point because these rules were made a long time ago when multi-sport wasn't such a prevalent part of our society anyway, but definitely not as in AVR. AVT hasn't been going as long as AVR. It's something quite, I think, only been going about 10 years, the AVT section.
Sure. Sure, I'm sorry if I can just say something. I think, yeah, that's a valid point. I think, obviously, if the championship rules have been running for a significant amount of years, I think they probably do need to be reviewed, especially like Sarah said, if there is distances and they are certified over 5K or 10K, personally, I can't see any reason why they can't be included. No. But obviously, it's the logistics of going through the process to make sure that's all agreed.
Sure, if I can just speak something from that as well, from not being involved in it before and now just hearing it all for the first time.
Yeah.
So my impression is that the Goal Getters is really not meant to be as scary as the Championship League and more involved, people can get involved. So just my impressions, if it's from what your conversation just now is, if it has to be certified and all of this, it's not really me against me, is it? It's me against the championship, really. So surely if someone wants to do a 5K that's not a certified course, does it have to matter? Can it not just be their time? Why does it have to be with the rules?
It doesn't.
Not have to follow the rules.
No, we'll change it, Mel. I think you're right. I think we have to change it, and I don't think necessarily. I think it's still kind of doing what it's set out to do, and that is advertise the fact that there's this championship. But maybe if we make it so that you can do any distance, you can do any part run, or you could do any triathlon, and it count, then if it's that's me against me.
Like a 10 mile is the 10 mile. If it's your 10 mile, whether it's slightly short, doesn't mean it doesn't count. Or if you've done
the only thing with that is if it runs alongside the actual championship, then the way that we send the results go straight onto the chart that they show. So if they're not accurately measured, then all that information will be given to the result people at the end of the day. So they'll be mixed up.
Kind of just it though, so that it's not the same thing.
Yeah, no, they can do that. They didn't do that this year. I know Anthony refused to take the details off the Goal Getters spreadsheet, even though they were all certified. So everyone had to email into offroad@avonvalleyrunners.org.uk. So unless you emailed in, you didn't enter the championship anyway. We'll take them off the spreadsheet. So it doesn't. So that wouldn't be a thing. That wouldn't be a problem. We could do that. We could do that. And then also, someone said they're not intending on doing a half marathon. So maybe we could do the 5K, 10K, and
one of your choice.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
10 mile,
Or
5 mile, 10 mile.
out of a choice, list choice.
I think it needs to be choice because I want to smash my half marathon, so I want it on there.
Okay then. So choose 3 or 4, or 4. Choose 3 or 5. So can we write that? You write that down, Fiona. So 5K, 10K, 5 mile, 10 mile, half marathon. Choose 3 or 5. And marathons, we put that in.
Yeah, because some people would want to have a go at it, won't they?
Katie's smiling. We'll put marathon in then. Any 3 from 6. Sounds like the pools.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Any
What's the
3
pool?
from 6.
What's the pool, Sean?
Yeah, that's it. Other people are like, what's he on about?
What's pools?
I think
Okay.
Sharon wanted to add something, didn't you? Do you want to add something, Sharon?
What's that?
Sharon?
I thought Sharon wanted to add something.
Oh no, I was going to add. I was going to go back to the sort of like the volunteer section because that seemed to work really well because I know there's always a struggle to get people to help.
Yeah.
But I was wondering whether you could maybe extend that to because I know a lot of AVR people volunteer for Stampede Sport and also Relish Running, and I'm wondering whether or not you could incorporate sort of
Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely
into,
brilliant, Sharon. Yeah, can you write that down, Fiona? So we've done the championship. It's going to be any 3 from 6. Okay, now if we go to the challenge, if you could just do what Sharon did there, come up with ideas that we can add in, and maybe if you think of ideas that you want to get rid of, we can actually put that sheet up in front of us if we want.
and then I had another.
Go on,
I don't,
Sharon.
because during sort of lockdown, lots of people did virtual events. I don't know what people feel about maybe still having, because it might get people who are kind of like new to goal getters who maybe want to do a 10K but don't feel comfortable running in a race.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of virtual events out there, like there's a London 10K that sort of takes place.
Okay, right. Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And
so
then I know
as you can see in front of you now, these are all there's 25. There's one missing off the bottom. Well, there's 2 missing off the bottom. One is run a Gwent cross country league race, and the other one was the one that was voted on by the mentees, which was wear your AVR kit in a landmark location. So those are the ones that we got. And I don't know whether you want to take any off or whether you could, but really we're looking for new ideas. I did think of, I don't know whether it makes it a bit more complicated. I did think of maybe doing a special one every month. So it comes up with, if you do it in January or if you do it in February, say you do, I don't know, I can't remember what I said now. So, in March, you've got to do a race that's got the word Easter in it or something like that. But I don't know whether that'd be a bit too faffy, really.
What's the March one? When we do exercise every day for March? That one.
Oh yeah, in March you could do the Mad March Mile or something like that. But
Mad, that's it. Yeah.
We could do kind of things like that. Has anyone got any other ideas about what we could do? So this is really like Mel pointed out to me. This is the me versus me thing. So it's something that we can try and improve on for yourself as well, and get involved with the running community generally. I mean, we've got a bit of park runs in there as well. I don't know whether we really need run your home park run.
What about something that involves doing something with your mentor?
That's it. What can we? That's brilliant. That
get them a cake, or I don't know, maybe. But something that involves being a team, enter something together, or I don't know, travel.
At least 5K with your mentor. What about that?
You could do like a triathlon thing. One does the run, one does the bike, one does the swim as a group as well, couldn't you?
Some kind of relay.
Good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we haven't really kind of concluded the fact about the AVT thing, have we? Whether we should integrate it with or do it completely separately.
I think if it's integrated, it's just going to be far too big and overwhelming, isn't it?
It
And
is. It is. But I also kind of want to get people that don't do multi-sport to give it a bash.
But maybe you can have like a couple of things that are multi-sport related on the goal getters, and then something also for the AVTs who are like, you know, really into their multi-sport stuff. So it's like a, you know, maybe even one of the things could be join the goal getters for AVT.
Brilliant. What, do both?
Well, yeah, why not?
yeah, I get, I'd go
Brilliant.
with that.
Okay, so we're going to do AVT and AVR separately, and they're going to be
link them, yeah.
Or you could say, if you're doing both, then you have some sort of concession that you don't have to complete everything on the main section. You know, you can kind of substitute some or something like that. I don't
that's
know.
a good idea, isn't it? So the way that this worked, for those that don't realise, is that to get to bronze, you had to do 10 of those out of those 25. To get to silver, you had to do 15, and to get to gold, you had to do 20. So you could both do the championship and the challenge, and if you beat all 3 times on there, you get gold, and if you did 20 items on the challenge, you'd also get a gold. So you'd have a double gold, which we're calling platinum for the presentation. That's the ultimate award. And 5 people like that. Yeah.
Why don't we have a look at maybe replacing all the ones that have been completed the least amount of times? So like get rid of the things that were the least popular. So like the Gwent League, I don't know, the 5 mile event, anything that's kind of like only 7 people did. Maybe we should think of a new challenge to replace them.
Yeah, the only thing with that is we're trying to encourage people to do the things that are a bit more off the wall, aren't we?
But to be fair, Sean, there's one on there called volunteer. I'm just reading it. Volunteer as a run leader on a club night. Well, I volunteered numerous times, but I can't because I'm not a whatever it. I would say MILF then. I don't mean MILF. What's it called? Alert. There's things on there that should completely unachievable, and also.
So Terry, you don't have to be a qualified run leader to lead a run.
Well, that's what I was told, Sean.
Oh,
so
right,
I volunteered. If you look on some of the posts, I volunteered to actually do road runs and off-road runs because I'm a canicrosser, as you know, so I know off-road runs as well. Yeah. But I was told I couldn't, even though I'm a qualified canicross leader, so run leader. But anyway, that's by the by. I was told I couldn't, and also what I put a suggestion in the box. It might be worth actually before these kind of. This is really small screen. I've got glasses on. Like run the Wiltshire off-road, whatever, or run the Wiltshire Road. It might be worth posting way before, so we can actually enter it. Because people like me who are complete novices, I run because I want to run, but I want to achieve as well. I don't know anything about the Gwent League. I know nothing apart from the photos that are posted after the Gwent League. Yeah. So it might be worth just literally posting every week. Do somebody whoever's running it does a. Do you know what? This week, we're going to focus on volunteering for the park runs. We have these park runs we need. Blah, blah, blah.
Actually, Terry, you're exactly right. And that was our intention at outset, was to get a team on the working group, working the social media and saying, why don't we all go to this event? Why don't we all concentrate on this and do it? But it just lost that momentum. And I know it was just down to the pandemic. I'm absolutely certain of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not blaming anyone.
No. You're dead right. You're dead right. It should have happened in an ideal situation. It would have happened, but we're not going to blame anyone because of the pandemic. And everyone was volunteers as well. I think we did well to get
timeline, don't we, through the year of when things have happened. Yeah. It's just like each month.
Exactly that. Yeah. And we want the people that are more experienced to be posting up on the Goal Getters Facebook group to say to inform the people that are less experienced of what the club's all about. That's the whole purpose of the challenges, is to try and get people more involved in the running community, not only the club, but the wider running community.
Yeah, and also the Gwent League, I wouldn't ever enter that because that is too highbrow for me, which is fine, but I possibly would enter other stuff. So it's kind of knowing, because I don't want to make a fool of myself and I don't want to make a fool of the club. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of actually also putting, and I know people are like, yeah, but everybody can join, and I know everyone can enter it, but it's that kind of also level of running expertise and knowledge, and it's that kind of, because I don't know the background of any of these, so it's also that as well in my simplistic mind.
Terry,
Terry,
if I could just tell you, as regards the Gwent League, you would love it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I would love it.
no, honestly, you would. Don't think of it as highbrow. There is a lot of very good runners there as well, but it is great fun. It is, and we got. I mean, I do it occasionally, and you know, I'm not the fastest runner at all, but I enjoy it because it's usually a great day out. I say the only disadvantage with Gwent is that sometimes the distances, because they're South Wales, although there is one at Blaze Castle in Bristol, and they usually have one in Cardiff as well, which is a little bit more local. So don't think, oh, you know, it's about a case of you won't do the club proud. You would do yourself proud by doing it yourself. Honestly, it is good fun.
I kind of, okay, so that's kind of false. That's my opinion of seeing the photos, not the people that run it. So the people that run it are, you know, like your Holly, who is amazing. You got like Dylan, who's amazing. You know, you got these amazing people. I can't think of any other members at the moment, which are all amazing. And you look and you go, yeah, I'm never entering that. So it's that kind of, maybe it's a bit, maybe a bit publicity. We need to kind of change the perception, maybe.
What I would say is Steve Williams obviously tends to overview the Gwent cross country.
Yeah.
I would say he would welcome you with open arms, metaphorically speaking. You know, if you said, or other goal getters said, do you know what, Steve? I want to do the Gwent cross country. He would absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would.
I just think this perception then, Richard, maybe we need to change the perception. I think that's maybe what we need to do is kind of as a club.
Actually, Sharon Perkins has got a really good idea. Maybe we could do it the tri-counties instead.
Yes, yeah.
Great idea,
tri-counties, which is one of the last events in December. Yeah, it's December, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Sharon. Well done on that.
But there is one, like I said, Sean, there is one on the calendars, normally one at Blaze Castle, which is this year, it's February, 19th of February, I think it is. So it might be a little bit sort of too early, but it might be something we could look at. Well, you know, people still do it this year if they wanted to, because Blaze Castle's only, well, it's only Bristol way.
Yeah. And I think Annalise made a really good point. We need to make a note of that for the minutes as well, as keep it simple.
Yeah.
So that it's not too arduous to kind of understand what you need to do.
If anyone wants to live, because I'm going across to Blaze and come along and see what it looks like, they could come with me.
Well, I thought you were running, Sally.
Yeah, but they can still come in the car, can't they?
Yeah.
They can cheer us on.
Good day, absolutely.
Vicky said run 100 miles in a month, evidenced by Strava. Don't know which Vicky that was.
Statistic one.
That's mad, 100 miles. That's a lot, isn't it?
It wasn't me, it was Vicky Odin.
Oh, is it? That's 5k a day, isn't it?
100k. So I think it's 100k, not 100.
Yeah, 100k.
Yeah, 100k.
No, 100 miles.
What's 100k?
100 miles.
Well, they just say, it has to say 100 meters.
What do we think? 100 miles or 100k?
100k.
100k.
I think so.
Gemma's written in as well.
Yeah.
I can't reply because it looks like it's you.
Gemma's saying, please can we definitely leave the road league task on there? That's got race suitable for every level, and I'll be promoting it. I think Gemma's the new road race secretary by the sounds of things.
Yeah, I am, and I'm going to be pushing it. So what Terry said before, everyone will know which races are included, because I'm going to put all the dates up soon. But that is open to absolutely everybody, so everyone can do that. And there's going to be everything from 5k to half marathon in it, so they can just pick and choose which races.
Excellent, that'd be fantastic. So what you can do as well, so what's good about that kind of event as well is you can tick 2 boxes at once. So it'd be run a Wiltshire Road Race League race and run a 5-mile event. So if you go and do a 5-mile event that's in the Road Race League, you're ticking 2 boxes as one. Understand? So anyone else got any other ideas? it means we're going to have to delete some, I think. Or do we have to delete some or?
It's quite nice having all of them on there, just add more to it.
Yeah.
That's not keeping it simple though.
No.
You're giving people more inclusivity to choose from.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you try things that you hadn't done before then, like this year that you didn't do last year, if you see what I mean.
No, that's fair enough.
I'll try to do all of them, but like have it over a couple of years.
Okay, have we got any other ideas?
And other mentors set other teams challenges as well, like to do.
How would that work?
I suppose unless you put loads of things in a hat and then you pull it out and say, well, this team has set this challenge this month, or
Do a random challenge.
yeah,
Random challenge. Okay, we can do that.
good.
I'm sure we could do that.
What about doing the, like Kat runs those try sessions, you know? I guess that's just take part in a multi-sport event.
Yeah. Take part in a multi-sport event for AVT.
Yeah, or just attending a swim practice.
Yes, that's a good one. An AVT swim session.
Yeah.
We could
Or
have goal
join
getters.
run to breakfast. But you know, yeah.
If there's going to be a separate AVT one, it's a separate meeting, isn't it, to put all the stuff together for it? 'Cause it will be completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
But we want some AVT things into the AVR ones. I think that's quite a good one. Swim session.
Can we do goal getter jumpers?
Yeah, that's the answer.
Sure. What about I'm just throwing this out, proof of fundraising via an event, possibly. I don't know.
Sorry, say that again, Richard.
Yeah. If you ran a race for fundraising.
Yes, that's a brilliant idea as well, isn't it? We got that down, Fiona?
Yeah.
Sharon Fergus has said a personal challenge which you set with your mentor. And Sally said about jumpers.
I got that.
So we'll definitely do that. We'll definitely have jumpers with goal getters.
You could have gold, bronze, silver, and all like that, couldn't you?
Yeah, and it says, Vicky said, can we have a separate mini challenge for the injured? 5 things. I don't know what she means by that.
So I can't do anything at the moment.
Sorry,
Hopefully
Vicky?
they won't be injured all year.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That at the moment I can't do anything at all because I'm injured, but it'd be nice to have a mini challenge, just like, I don't know, do 10 press ups or whatever a day. That is a sensible thing to do whilst you're rehabbing.
Well, there are some things that's what we did. We actually created some things that you could do while you're injured, like contribute to the Avon Valley Runners News, post on AVR members only Facebook group, join a working group, the social events, the volunteering for open events and closed events. There is quite a lot to do.
Yeah.
There is quite a lot to do when you're injured, but we can come up with some other bits and pieces as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just
Does everyone think that the 10, 15 and 20 for kind of the bronze, silver and gold's a reasonable amount, or should we increase it or decrease it?
It's good. I think it's a happy medium, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it worked well.
If it's not broke, don't change it. That sounds fair enough. I've got just to raise a point that I thought that at one stage that we might ask people to pay an entry fee for goal getters, but I had a couple of vociferous emails about it when I kind of suggested it, and the funds levels in the club are quite adequate at the moment, so I don't think we really need to go there. So some people agreed, some people disagreed, but I think we'll keep it free if everyone's happy to do that. Do you think?
Yeah,
I think that's important.
That's important, so we'll keep with that idea then. So unless anyone's got any other ideas, I just wanted to go through a bit of a conclusion, and I hope this is all right. So this is what our intent. So I know you're going to say, well, that wasn't quite exactly how it happened last 2 years, but I just wanted to show you this. And this is what we tried to do last year. So you had a working group of people, and this is a list of working group people, and they would like, they were, so these are the columns here. That's the working group. So they're all in the working group. This is the email admin team. So that was me and Kat. We're updating the spreadsheet. So they'd have the EAT people would have access to the spreadsheet. And then you've got this column here. So people would be content creators for Facebook and for social media. So they would do the things like focus on a race, come up with an idea for a race, or just take one of the challenges maybe, or take some of the distances for the championship and put some content up on social media for that. So we also got a YouTube and a Facebook and Insta, and these are the people who will get involved in that. Then we have 4 people that were ambassadors, and they were supporting the mentors. So if any of the mentors didn't know an answer to a question, that they could then approach the ambassadors. The ambassadors were enormously experienced people within the club, okay? And then you've got the key to what all those mean there. So what I'm hoping for is a whole raft of emails to the address I gave you saying, Sean, I want to be on the working group and I want to be a mentor, and anything you need me to do, I can do. But if you've got specific skills towards Facebook or towards YouTube or towards Instagram or things like that, and you want to do that, then that's so be it. Or you just want to create content because you're pretty experienced in the club. You're someone like Mel Ward Nichols that has been in the club well over 10 years and knows all these events coming up for AVT and stuff like that. And then there's a mentor as well. So I'm hoping that you can email in, say, I want to be on the working group, I want to be a mentor. And that's what we need, okay? And then we also need a group of people, I was hoping, to help put word out between now and the 5th of February to say, you know, you'd be a great guy to be a mentor. Can you email in to goal@avonvalleyrunners.org.uk and tell Sean and Sally that you're going to be a mentor or working on the goal getters.
Sean,
Is that clear? Any questions on that bit?
What exactly does a mentor do?
So the mentor, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Actually, I'm not going to answer that question because I've just been going on and on and on. Vicky Bodman's going to answer that one. I'm going to make. Is she still here?
Yeah. I mean, hi. Yeah, I'm here. A mentor. Well, I think it can be what you want it to be. So you, because I had 3 people, I made us a little like WhatsApp group. So we like sent messages to each other and said, oh, what races have you got coming out? What are you aiming for? And just trying to help motivate each other, go for a run together sometimes. Basically see what everyone's goals are and work towards them. What actually happened in my group is one of the people I was mentoring ended up pretty much mentoring me instead, which is good, which is fine, and it worked really well. Because we all just work together. So you are the lead of your little group, but I mean, what happened with us is we all just bounced off each other to try and organise ourselves. So it might be like, oh, I'm going to go run this race. Do you want to come along? It's like just getting people motivated to keep doing it. So me, Sally, and Chris all ran. What do we run, Sally? Bath 2 tunnels, didn't we? And like we volunteer together sometimes, or just you could be like, oh, we'll man a water station at an event or something, as a team doing stuff together. I mean, you'd have to go out your way to keep in contact. People might be like, I don't want you to contact me too much or whatever, but we really enjoyed the whole team aspect of it, and I'm very competitive. It helps me, so doesn't it? So and then we work together and bounce off each other. So that's how I see it.
So also on the website that I showed you, it does say here. So if you go to the tab at the bottom, fact sheet, okay, it then brings up this all about the facts of the whole thing, and it does say in here, and like everyone gets this fact sheet. Mentor best practice. Contact your mentee regularly via text, email, Facebook. 2, make a diary note of their target races, give them feedback and offer advice. Find a few races they might be interested in, so consider other options. Follow their progress on Strava if they've got account. Familiarise yourself with what other grading and the calculator so you can highlight their improvements as you go. Be prepared to signpost them if you feel they could be overtraining, struggling to feel or become low in mood. So it's all saying things that you don't say as a coach, because they're not coaches in actual fact, but some of them might be. Encourage cross-training, signpost to sports massage, physio or doctors for injuries, set some progress goals, remain positive, believe in the athlete, attend the group meetings, about 3 throughout the year. Conclusion, offer feedback on their improvements, be positive, build confidence. So it's fairly kind of common sense, but Vicky did take it to the next level, really. So it's all written down there. Then there's a best practice for the mentees as well, which obviously the mentors need to read about. Any questions? So hopefully we're going to get a raft of emails in saying that you want to join the working group and you want to be a mentor as well, because you've all got loads of great stuff to say. We need to talk more about the AVT aspect of it all, because I think that's really, really important that we get the AVT aspect in, and whether that's going to, it sounds like that's going to work side by side, which will be great. And like Sarah says, you could possibly do both and take challenges off of both sides. Does anyone want to say anything else?
Everyone got their presentation evening ticket?
Oh, yeah. Hold on, there's something here. It does help if the mentors are of a similar skill and speed so that it's easier to encourage each other and progress together. My mentor is amazing. Terry said that. Yeah.
Mentees rather than mentors, I meant. Sorry, I used the wrong word. So if the mentees are of the same similar skill and speed, then it's easier for the mentors to actually encourage us all, and we actually group as a group. Whereas our group was it's only 3 of us. We were all of completely different skills and processes, and we just couldn't, even though we gelled on a WhatsApp group, and our mentor was brilliant trying to bring us together. It was so difficult because we couldn't run together we could run together, but none of us were actually progressing as a group. We had to do it singularly. So that is just my kind of, if I was placed with people of my very slow speed, then we could all progress together and actually learn together and have that kind of group sense of grouping.
And Martin and Sarah agree with that as well.
If Sarah's comment on there, yeah, I do agree. It's a balance of play, really, as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
and especially if you've said about maybe meeting up and going out for a run with the mentors with their group. If I don't run very fast or very far at the moment, and for me it's about improving that. But if I was going out with somebody who's running, the group wanted to do a long run, I wouldn't go.
Yeah. So say for instance, like Sarah and I being mentees together, perfect. We're perfectly kind of matched, aren't we, Sarah? But my matchings wasn't great, and it was really difficult for my mentor as well. As much as he was very encouraging, he was amazing, he was so encouraging, but we didn't go out because we were of such different gradings that it just didn't work. So that's something I'd like to be considered if you're able to. That's just
So are you saying that the mentee and the mentor should be of a similar ability, or are you saying the mentees only should be of a similar ability?
The mentees, because our mentor was brilliant, because he dumbed down his race, if you like, for us and showed us proper skills and how to breathe. And it was he's not a coach. It was really good for us because he's an experienced runner. So he was dumbing his run down to help us kind of progress. But in our group, we had 3 people and we were all of completely different abilities. So it made his job harder, and we couldn't meet together as such because we wouldn't meet up for a run. We just wouldn't. We would never meet up for a run, which is a difference to what Vicky's group sounds like. It was more of a similar, challenging, kind of, I would have liked to have been in a group like that. And it was very difficult for my mentor, or our mentor, because he had 3 completely different people, obviously, but of different speeds, abilities, commitment and that kind of stuff. It's just from a personal element. I think we all would have been probably progressed better and had more of a passion for it. I mean, I continued running by myself, as you know, but I don't know what the other 2 are doing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, I do think
I think it's going to be very, I think it sounds like, is everyone in agreement with that kind of aspect of it all?
Yeah.
I guess it would be great in an ideal scenario, but I can see some potential problems. Maybe this isn't so, but that it's going to be quite difficult to assign people to a we might have a load of fast running mentors and not so fast running mentees, which might be difficult. And also people might think, well, I should be
No,
there.
the mentees all need to be the same, not the mentor and the mentees, just that the group of mentees all need to be the same standard.
Okay.
And as long as the mentor is happy to take on the slow fat knackers like me, then which my mentor was actually quite happy to do, and bring us on, then that's absolutely fine. So it's up to the mentors who they want to take, I guess. I don't know that element of it, but if the mentees are boxed together, and we all know who runs together and who, we all know who suits each other. So that's just my comment. I think maybe we would have done better if we were kind of
we've always done it in the past where you draw a name out of a hat.
Yeah, I think, can I interact here? I think
Yeah.
you've got to be very careful, because making it just your little group isn't making it club inclusive.
Yeah.
And you're not going to work with different people. You're going to create little clicky groups. I work in local government, so I quite understand how things work within relationships of groups and committees. It's really, I think the way it's set at the moment, where you're pulled out a hat, is good. And yes, not every group, not every mentor who has 2 or 3 mentees, is it going to work 100% that you're going to be the same. But I think the statement made that the mentor has come down to the level of the people they're doing, that is the correct way of doing it. And if that mentor is making the effort to go out with their runners at that thing, that is still correct. That to change it to you're all the same speed, the same thing. Yes, it's nice to have an inclusive group, but it isn't what the club's about. The club is about inclusivity and everyone working with different people.
But we've still run with the group though, Sarah. So I agree with you completely, but I'm not saying that we just run as a 3 or 4 or 6 or whatever. We grow together as we nurture each other, but we still run as a collective group, as in with AVR, we do the goal getters, we do all the challenges. I'm not saying that, but
it would be very hard to pair people up. It's like me, who would you pair me with? Richard and I are very different, but he's fantastic because he's so different to me. We can have conversations that I wouldn't think of having. So I think it's very good if your mentor and your mentees are different, because you look at different sides of things and your running and how you work. And Richard has suggested things to me I wouldn't have thought of doing. So I think that's...
No, absolutely. I'm not talking about the mentors, Sarah. I think the mentors are, you've added value to my skills, and my mentor has as well. So I'm not saying about the mentors and the mentees. I'm just talking about, I haven't learned anything from my mentees, and I haven't run with my mentees, which helped me personally, selfishly out. So I'm just talking about, growing as a member of and growing personally and actually developing. My mentor's been brilliant, and I can't fault him at all. But what I'm saying is I haven't been able to go out with my group because we're not of the same skill base, and that's it. I'm going to stop now, but that's
I know what you mean. I wonder whether we need to have in the working group more people creating these social things that Fiona was on about, which was in our intention at the outset of this session before the pandemic hit us, was to go out as a big group of people, so that you would then go out with not only within your mentee group, you would go out with other mentees and talk to other mentees of a similar ability. I do see the advantages, but what worries me is that someone, and it's probably going to have to be me and Sally, is going to have to work out who's faster than who. And as Annalise just put out, we don't try and use the words faster and slower, because labeling people is just going to...
Someone,
I'm not saying that though, Sean. Yeah.
Sorry, do we do Mel next?
If you wanted to do it for the order of speed, we don't have to do that. We can just have, if you're doing goal getters, it could be something like what bracket are you in for your 5k time, and you just got 4 boxes to tick, and there'll be the differentiation of 4 groups, just like we do with speed work. If you do 21k, you're in that group. If you do 25k, you're in that group. It doesn't be a issue as such.
So should we do it that way then? Should we do what Terry's saying, using the Mel Ward Nichols method?
No, because people might not do 5K. It's just an example. If I was going to be a mentor and I had a group of mentees, it would be a hell of a lot easier for me to have everyone of the same kind of standard. Otherwise, no one's really going to get me properly because I won't have enough time to do everybody, find races for everyone. And so it makes, if we're all going to have more than one person, it's going to kind of make more sense for the mentor's perspective to kind of deal with the same vague standard of person, isn't it?
Okay, if you agree with what Mel's saying, can you wave a bit and then we'll see how many people agree with keeping them fairly similar?
I think it's a balance of play there as well, isn't it, Mel and Sean? Because I was a mentor and I had 3 mentees and we were all different speeds. But it's been more, I suppose, it's the comms and being aware of what else is out there, isn't there? I think that would help.
So I don't know, because I haven't done it. So did you find that didn't take up a lot more of your time as a mentor? Was that okay?
Yeah, it worked really well.
Yeah, I think it worked well.
In fact, it helped you because you had.
I don't know. Is it just that we don't have mentors?
I think because you had different people, as a mentor, it gave you a different skill set, and it helped you dealing with different groups and different. It's not you're just churning out the same thing to the same set of people. You have to think about the individual, and that's what it's about. As I'm a coach for swimming, I'm a swimming teacher, but you treat each individual person for their individual needs. Just because they run the same thing
for like finding races, literally.
Okay, I think I know what we ought to be doing here then, is that both scenarios can be dealt with by the fact that if we have these social occasions, they can either go, you can mix with different people at different standards, and also if you have a social occasions, you can run with people with the same standards. But what we need to do really is now decide, and I'm just going to do a kind of, I think, a show of hands on who thinks we should do random selection. So like Sarah's saying, and you might end up with a whole kind of jumbled up paces level, or whether we do a structured selection, random selection or structured selection. Does everyone know the difference?
That's keep the same. So that's keep the same or have structure.
So yeah, so the same pace, similar paces. So that would be the structured one, or just completely random selection.
Which is what we do now. Which is what we do now.
Which is what we do now.
We've gone so well with our mentor, and we don't want to change that.
Sorry?
Is that something different? What if we got on so well with our mentor and we don't want to change that?
That's not an option.
Right.
If your mentor was really good, you need to share them around a bit.
No,
we can't have people choosing mentors. There's no way around that, is there? Sorry, tell me if I'm wrong, but we cannot have people selecting their own mentors, can we?
What?
Everyone's nodding. Thank goodness for that.
And we've kind of, built a plan and stuff, and so then they would be moved on. But
it might be bad next year, Caroline. I can see Helen with her hands on her head as well. She's already chosen hers.
Until Chris won't stop talking to you, Caroline. It'll be all right.
No, I can't see a way that will work at all. I'm not wrong, am I, people? I'm not wrong.
Have a surprise every year who you're going to have, because it's up a bit more.
Yeah, so random or structured? Does everyone understand the difference?
Random.
Right,
so if I say random, wave your hands in the air if you agree with random. And now structured, where they're all the same ability. Oh God, I got to count.
I'm going to count myself out because I didn't do it last time. I don't really know. Do you know what I mean? So
don't count yourself out. You've got to vote. You're here. Vote, Mel. Vote.
Yes, why didn't you do thumbs up for one?
You spoke, Mel. You've got to vote now. No, anyway, let's count. Put your hands up if you think random, like we did last year. Well, we've got Fiona, Sally, Richard, Martin, Sharon, Vicky, Annalie, Caroline, and Sarah. I said that was 10. I said random, didn't I?
Yeah. Random.
10 random. Structured. Who's going to make the structured? So we got Katie, Sarah, Michael, Tim, Russell, Mel, Catherine, Terry, Gemma. 9. So the random people have got it.
Or we could have a randomly structured.
Oh, shut up.
Well, don't worry. Those people that voted for structured, I'm absolutely convinced that what we should do is have more and more social occasions where all the mentees come together, do a breakfast run like Caroline does on a Saturday morning or something like that, and we have social occasions where you can just run with the people of a similar ability. Plus, every single day of the week, there's an AVR session with same abilities in it as well, isn't there? So we will try and cover it all. But I realised, that was almost Brexit again, wasn't it?
You won it.
We've got some more comments that we'll just go through. To be honest, not bother structured. I'm sure you can keep in touch with last year's mentor. No, you're banned, Caroline. You can't talk to them. Right, is there any other questions before we go? I've taken up so much of your time. I really, really appreciate you spend an hour and a quarter of your Monday night listening to me witter on. Hopefully I haven't been too boring, but we really appreciate your involvement in getting involved. And with Sally at the helm as well, I think we're going to have lots of enthusiastic mentors, mentees, working group, and it's going to be a lot more fun with Sally. That's our slogan. A lot more fun with Sally. All right, we can have. What do we call it? Avon Sally Runners. I'm going to put that to the AGM tomorrow night.
I'll put Sean, I'll put it down as an agenda item. I'll put a slide for it now.
Avon Sally Runners.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't forget, people, please all email me. I'm thinking there's going to be nothing in the inbox. Email me about the working group, about the mentors. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks ever so much for spending some time with us tonight. Off you go now, because otherwise I'll just go on and on. But there's more and more information on that single information resource about the mentees' best practice, as well as the mentors which we read out. Okay.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.
Sean,
Yeah.
can I, have you got like full Zoom, like no time restrictions?
Yes.
Could we use it tomorrow for the AGM?
Yeah. Yes.
We're not there. We're not there, Sean.
We don't have to be there.
No, you don't have to be.
No. We were gonna Zoom link in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you could just no.
No, that's fine.
We can do that. We can do that from the other computer, but we'll have to bring this paper, won't we?
Yeah. That's fine. I'll start the meeting at 8:15. Shall I?
Is that all right? Just because I know that not everyone wants to come to the AGM, so I was like, oh, mine runs out after 45 minutes, and
I'll create a meeting now and send it to you. Yeah.
You may regret that, Vicky, when you're there 3 hours and 10 minutes later.
I don't mind. It's my last meeting.
Is the bar open tomorrow night?
Huh?
Is the bar open there tomorrow night?
I think so.
Well, all right.
Fine otherwise.
Just
Yeah,
bring
Vicky.
a bottle, Sally. Bring a bottle.
Vicky, I showed you that mentor best practice.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've told me time and time again that you don't want to do anything. You haven't got time to do anything. But would you just take a quick look through it and see what we could amend on it?
Yes.
Thank you. 'Cause we want everyone to do what you
Not
do.
in my role as secretary, that I won't be able to do, it's fine.
Okay. Sorry to ask you, because I know I've asked you, but I'm not just saying it because to be nice. Obviously what you did last year was amazing. Last 2 years is amazing.
Well, I think the first year it started well, and then we had a bit of a dip, and then
Good for everyone.
yeah.
Well, you managed to rise up at the dip where I think a lot of people found it really, really difficult, including myself. So I think you did a really good job.
And just a quick question: Are targets for goal getters, are they based on what we've achieved this year, like just the year just gone?
Yeah.
Well, that's
The championship.
Yeah, because I went and did in December. I went and did my 5K, 10K, and half marathon to set my new times to beat.
Oh, brilliant.
So I can use those, can't I? To beat.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I
Definitely.
can't beat
You
my
need to use
19
your
time.
seasonal best from this year,
Yeah,
from last year. Your seasonal best from last year, as part of your championship. But you can choose any 3 from 6 now.
That sounds like a headache.
That's not keeping it simple, is it?
No, that is not. And AVT stuff, I think you just need a multi-sport or try on this one. And then the AVT one, they just need to lead that because they are so enthusiastic at the moment. There's 10 of them. They're all doing Weymouth half Ironman.
Yeah.
I am as well. So is Esther. But like I'm not in that big group of like excited people.
Waving to you, not waving.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so they're really keen. You grab them while they're keen.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think it's a good thing for them. I think they'd be fantastic. And
yeah.
Fiona, I didn't remember, but I'll basically write to Caroline and Sarah and ask them if they can.
I couldn't type up in it. I couldn't type up in the chat because it comes up as you're saying it. But I was suggesting that Caroline or Sarah or one of those from AVT took on the goal getters for AVT, so they set their own challenges and because, like you said, they've got so much.
Already written it.
They've got so much enthusiasm.
I think Caroline's already written it. She's said to Kat they need a working group meeting. She's written an agenda. I think she's
brilliant.
The minutes of it and everything already.
Yeah,
so she's on it at the moment.
Yeah, and should be disappointed if it's not done like they want it to be done because they're really passionate about it. So I think they should do it. It'd be good.
Definitely, and they could do like a championship equivalent, and they can do the half Ironman and just set themselves a target time.
Yeah. The problem is, sorry, there isn't a problem, but you've got to make sure your mentor is a triathlon mentor.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Not just a running mentor because I couldn't mentor anyone for triathlon.
But that's why they need a separate thing to do it.
Separate.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. So I'm gonna have to ask people if they're prepared to be mentors for AVT. There's not many, is there?
Or you have.
Well, let them do that. Let Caroline and.
Yeah. You got Chris, Steve Clark will probably be involved in it that way.
Yeah.
Sarah, she'll want to be
involved.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. There's enough.
You don't need loads there because there's quite a small community, but.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Thanks for that, Vicky.
Duathlon bit would go in that.
Duathlon can go in the triathlon bit, can't it?
Thanks, Vicky. I really appreciate you staying on as well. So.
No props. Right, I'm going to finish my puzzle. Well, do a bit more of my puzzle. I'm learning to relax. It's a new thing.
Cheers. Best of luck tomorrow night, Vicky.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, Sally.
Bye, lovelies.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. How do I get out?